Hello, everyone, and welcome to CV Chats. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I'm going to be your host as we have different conversations, different chats with people all around the globe about our bodies, different parts of our bodies, our businesses, our relationships, our finances, our children, different things that maybe may not be a conversation you would have with others. But we're going to have conversations here that hopefully will inspire you to whatever's going on in your life, but also what can we create, inviting a different conversation about vaginas, penises, bodies, and so much more. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CV Chats. So today's podcast is going to be with moi. I was inspired having different conversations with people today to making this be more about an acknowledgement. So, a lot of times as we grow up, we start to learn it's great to be grateful for everyone. It's great to let them know when they do something wonderful, when you notice something beautiful about them, and it's about acknowledging others. But I'd like to actually take this moment to invite us to self acknowledgement. When we're looking for validation, when you're waiting for someone to validate you for doing a great job or for being kind or whatever it is, we're actually waiting for something outside of us, which means then we set our standards that if we don't receive that external feedback, then we're wrong. We didn't do something correctly. We make it be that they become in charge, but they also get to be the controllers, where it's okay to get acknowledgement from others. It's okay for others to be grateful for you. But what if it's about starting from within? With Access Consciousness, which is the tools that we use with Conscious Vagina, it's about asking questions. It's not about having the answers, and you don't even ask questions to get answers. We ask questions to unlock anything that's there, any energy that's stuck, any energy that's hidden, so that you can gain awareness. And based on awareness, you can actually acknowledge, have more information, and then your choices are being made from starting to perceive the energies of something versus just doing it randomly and hoping that something turns out great. So it's not about the art of saying optimistic point of views. It's actually being more honest with you, more vulnerable with you, and allowing to tap into the energy and let the energy guide you. Like, for example, tonight, I was talking to someone who was doing a lot of work as an engineer in war zone. And for a long time, she didn't even tell her parents where her project was because there was bombings. And when I was chatting with her, one of the things that I recognized is that there was one female engineer with 900 male engineers. Okay, just that alone, doesn't that spark an acknowledgement? Doesn't that spark like, wow, she's different. She is unique. First of all, being able to be in an environment with 900 men and still be able to function and do your job very well, that itself takes courage. It shows a level of intelligence and brilliance. And when we started to talk, she actually noticed some of the things that came up was the judgments, the things that her boss had said to her or things that people assumed. Those were the things that came up. And when we started to actually destroy and uncreate those points of views, she now could acknowledge all the magic and miracles that got created, the things that that project got to create was even featured on CNN. She was interviewed on TV. She was put into the newspaper. And those are the things that at that moment, we don't even know what's happening. We choose something based on, hey, I just don't know why, but I need to be there. I need to be on this project. But what it actually was her becoming aware, her and her body becoming aware of this project and the futures that would get created with it. And that's part of this acknowledgement that I like to invite. With CV chats, it's not just about the vagina, but it really is this oneness, this communion, this communication with our bodies. And if we allow ourselves to listen, our bodies let us know not to go somewhere. Have you ever had it to where you were going to walk down the street or you were in the car and you wanted to get to a destination and normally you go one route, but that day it just was like, no, don't do that. Go a different route. That is your awareness. That is your body gifting you information of the future, telling you to stay away from that road. Well, the same thing, if we allow those moments that our body was guiding us, even think of a moment when you're about to get intimate with somebody, you're about to have sex with somebody, and you knew there was this knowing inside you, don't go there. Well, it's the same thing. It's your body giving you information of the future. And your body doesn't stop at just giving you information about you. Your body gives you information about the weather, earthquakes. It gives you information about tsunamis. It gives you information about the business. It gives you information about the future. And if we start to acknowledge, really start to acknowledge those moments, and it seems like these little moments, but as we start to acknowledge, hey, you know what? My body said, don't go down the street. Thanks, body. Thanks for the information. Then you start to actually build a trust with you and your knowing, a trust with your body and the way that you are communicating with each other. And the more you start to acknowledge, the more you actually allow your life to get greater, more possibilities, more information, and even create greater with finances. Now, look at how often during the life that you've had so far that you've gone into the distractors of doubt. You've doubted your knowing, you doubted going down that street, you doubted your body. But the good news is, it doesn't matter what you chose 10 seconds ago. What are you choosing now? So, all the moments that you had a knowing, don't get in bed with someone, you had the knowing of, hey, that job's not going to work out, or that marriage isn't going to work out. Whatever those moments of knowing was, that you chose to go against it. That's actually anti-consciousness when you go against your consciousness. So all the anti-consciousness that you chose, you created, can we just now let it go? Just let it dissipate, just destroy and uncreate all those moments. You allowed it, you put your creative energy into it, and every future that that created, can we just let it go? Just now you say right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100 shorts, boys, povats, bases, creations, and beyonds. And that's the Access Consciousness clearing statement. It's like a magic wand. You ask any question, the energy bubbles up And you can just let it go by just saying all those words. And if you don't remember, just say whatever Laleh said or say pod and pock. And you can go to the clearingstatement.com. Dr. Dane here, Simone Millises, actually, they did it in a very funny way, but they really describe each of those words and what it really is that you're letting go of. But it's letting go anywhere you made any energy, any point of view, any sensation, whatever that energy is, right, wrong, good, or bad. Any of those moments that you made it be significant, where it was meaningful, meaningless, any moment you went into that shock of, and you're gasping for air, and then all these points of views that you're avoiding and you're defending, which really becomes this thing that we now call cognitive dissonance. It's where you have two opposing points of views. Like you could say, I'm smart, I'm stupid. And at the same time, they cross each other out. So there is no gain. All it is no choice. You have no choice because everything you have is opposing each other. Um, Cognitive, okay. And then you've got um, a lot of different things, but it takes away those energies that are stuck so that now those energies can be free flowing and you can actually have more awareness and you can have more possibilities and more choices. Because the only time you have no choice is because you have conflicting points of views. The minute you let those go, you now invite you to have greater awareness. And this is actually a big part of acknowledgement because when we were growing up in school, no one said starts with you. But when you get on an airplane, that's when they tell you put the mask on you first before anyone else, which was so foreign to me when I had kids and I would hear that and I was like, no, save my babies. No, save you so you can save your babies, And it's the same thing. That moment you start acknowledging everything. Hey, today, you know what? I had a lot of fun. Today, I had a very different day than I did yesterday. I'm going to have more of this. How does it get even better than this? Like starting to ask questions invites more of it. And when you acknowledge, like for example, let's say that, we were talking about a project that I did with a not for profit organization many years ago. And it first started as one project coming in because they had a lot of staff that was leaving in a very short period of time. And then coming in, interviewing them, interviewing all their programs. They were in multiple states. Um, it was interesting what we were able to create and then the synergies that got created. And even in meetings, instead of conflict, fight between departments, it became gratitude. It became departments desiring to work with each other. There was this communion that got created, which made the systems get created with more ease. It allowed the retention of staff to be greater. People actually wanted to come to work. But you know what? There were so many things I'd acknowledged before. But then today, acknowledging it gave me such a different energy and awareness. But what it does is it also expands your life and your living, because when you don't acknowledge something, it's like it's something is missing in that area and you want to keep making you wrong for it. You want to keep making it that you haven't done something. So we tend to destroy and keep recreating. One question to ask with anything every single day you can ask: what beyond this reality acknowledgement can I be giving me? And then it's not about an answer, but allow the space that opens up. What beyond this reality acknowledgement can I be giving my body? All the ways your body communicates with you, all the ways your body gives you ideas, and the sensations, Being able to try different foods, different clothes, even sleeping on a bed. This is all part of this communion with your body. But also acknowledge your business. What beyond this reality acknowledgement can I be giving my business? Give it its name. Ours is Global Wellness for All and Bella Pimo. And when you do, it's like you also invite in the consciousness of the business and the consciousness of your body to also expand and exponentialize. But also notice in your world, do you get happier? Do you perceive you have more space of you? Because the more we acknowledge, the more we tend to be stronger, more confidence. We tend to have more ease. Yeah. Now, those moments that you don't acknowledge, also notice that. It's not about any moment making you wrong, but just what else is possible. So, if you started to even look at the last 24 hours of your life, like what did you create? How many people did you engage with? You know, what futures became available from every choice that you made? And if we're willing to acknowledge that just by saying, I will acknowledge that, what else can be created from here? And notice your body's communication. Because a lot of times when you don't acknowledge something, an awareness, for example, hey, yeah, I shouldn't have picked up the phone and talked to that person, or shouldn't have gone down that street, or whatever. Also, notice your body. And that moment that you actually acknowledge it, do you end up having more space with your body? Because you also unlock things the minute you acknowledge. You also allow this communion with your body to be greater. So, what gratitude can you have for you and your body today that was never available before? And would you now choose it? Say, I'll have it. And be willing, like when you say, I'll have it, be willing to like celebrate, I'm having it. Be willing to lean into all that new space. I always tell people go forward, go back, go to the right, go to the left, go up, go down, and occupy all that new space. Because as you, as you acknowledge your body, as you acknowledge your life, as you acknowledge the business, you actually now gifted more space of possibilities. You gifted more awareness. And with those possibilities, what can you create now? And share it, teach it to others, people you work with, people in your family. I love tools. I share them. I like having them in my toolbox wherever I am. If you happen to sit next to me on a plane, sometimes it doesn't happen because they're single seats. Um, but like, I always love, no matter what's going on in someone's world, to even gift them a question. So, what beyond this reality acknowledgement can you be giving you today? And all those moments that you never acknowledged you, what if you could acknowledge you now for all those moments and allow you to fill all those spaces with your being and your body? And from that space of occupying all those spaces, it's not empty anymore. It's not waiting for acknowledgement. Now, how can you utilize that to create new products, new services, new businesses, new relationships, new possibilities. Yeah. And what if those moments that you were told, if you ever acknowledged you, or if you were grateful for you were selfish, or all the other judgments that people throw at us? What if it's okay? What if it's okay to be selfish? Like that airplane, if the plane's going down, you got to put the mask on you first. Then you can help others. So, what if it's okay to be selfish? Because that moment that you include you actually are now including you and everyone else. But when you make it be just about everyone else, which I did that my whole life, you putting you outside of you isn't even going to gift them as much as you like. You can't be outside of it. It has to include you with it. So, what if a home play is every single day? What if it's okay for me to be selfish today? And by including me in my life, including me in the business, including me in the relationship, including me in the finances, including me, what future does that create? Anything that doesn't allow you to be, know, perceive, and receive it, can we let that go and destroy and uncreate all of that? Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 100 shorts, boys, POVADs, basics, creations, and beyond. And I'd love to hear from you guys. When you watch this later, put some notes, put some comments for us, give us some feedback. What do you start to notice as you start to acknowledge? Because these little steps that we take, these actions that we take, even the act of kindness, you smiling at someone can melt their whole world. And as we start to acknowledge it, not cognitively, but just ask, what beyond this reality acknowledgement can I be giving me? And whatever energy comes up, say, yes, I'll have it. And allow our lives to get bigger and greater. And as your life gets greater, the universe gets greater, and those possibilities become available for others. So, what we learned that, hey, if you have something you take away from someone else having it, that's the biggest lie of the universe. The universe is abundant the minute you choose something. And even to acknowledge yourself, that now becomes available for every single person on the planet. But it also becomes available for the trees, nature, the animals. They too gain more consciousness. They too can expand their being. And that's something no one teaches us. I'm very grateful for the tools of Access Consciousness because it's about empowering people to know what they know. And with that, what do you know about bodies? What do you know about business? What do you know about joy? What do you know about creation of wealth? What do you know about creating beyond anything anyone else has ever created before? So I invite you to play and to explore with this acknowledgement and start to notice and even write it down. How different are things showing up in your life? Because that moment you acknowledge you for your greatness and your brilliance, start to notice, do you get more possibilities? Like my friend, we were asking some questions and we were exploring, hey, what would it be like if she actually had a new job? And today someone contacted her in a different department in her company and asked her to apply for a position she didn't even know existed. See, the minute you ask questions, the minute you're willing to explore possibility, guess what happens? Those doors become available in the universe and it can match. So, what are you asking for today? So grateful you guys were here today. And I wonder, what can acknowledgement invite each of us to? But I also wonder, what can it be as an inspiration and an invitation for others? So, who do you know that you can pass this podcast to that invites them to have a lot more of them and invites them to start maybe choosing more gratitude for themselves as well? So, I look forward to seeing you guys next time. And any questions and comments, just put them below. We'll see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here with CV Chats. Hopefully you had some awarenesses, information, some new tools to help you with whatever's going on in your life, maybe even gain some more communication with your body. And we invite you to, who do you know that can also have this conversation contribute to? Will you help us in spreading the seeds and inviting this to go even deeper all around the globe, to people to know something else is available for us and we can choose something different with our bodies every single day. So thank you for being here. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or would like to have a particular topic on the next shows, comment below and let us know. You can always also send us a message in our Facebook. We also have Instagram with Conscious Vagina, and you can also contact us at globalwellnessbrawl.com/contact. See you soon.